Hello and welcome. I am Simona Mainini with Feng Shui for Architecture, and this is the introduction to the 2024 forecast for the Year of the Wood Dragon. The Year of the Wood Dragon is going to be quite a bit different than the last 2 years. But first of all, before I continue with this introduction, I also want to invite you to our extended presentation. It's going to be a 2-hour presentation on January 27, 2024 at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'm going to leave you the login registration for the registration down here, and also at the end of this brief introduction. You can register at our fengshuitrainingcenter.com so that I can send you the login link, and the presentation will be recorded, so you will have a playback video in case you end up missing it. But first of all, I want to give you a little bit of an idea of the things that we're going to be discussing. We're going to cover 3 points primarily. One, the fact that the year is the year of the wood dragon. The wood dragon is, the dragon actually is associated also with one of the 5 elements, which is the earth element. So the earth element is the least movable of this element, as a very stable energy. And it's a young earth, so it's actually like a mountain. It's like really solid and doesn't move around that much, which is going to be a really good change, I think, after 2023 or 2022, because the tiger year and the rabbit year normally, actually not normally, they are associated with the wood element. The wood element is the most movable of all the elements. And so, you know, a lot of activity, a lot of instability. But now with the dragon coming in, it's going to be, you know, coming down a little bit, giving us a little bit more stability. And I know there is a little bit of a misunderstanding, because we have seen all these beautiful dragons in Games of Thrones or Dungeons and Dragons. You know, they fly around, they shoot fire. This is not going to be quite like that. Dragon, as I said, is a earth element, so might be more one of those slow dinosaurs, you know, like a big ones, or perhaps even a big lizard, something like that. Maybe an iguana, you know, cold-blooded, so it doesn't move around that much, something more like that. But nevertheless, seems like it's coming at the right time, because usually, you know, after a rabbit here and a tiger here, we can use a little bit of a break. So that's going to be it. And also remember, though, that the wood dragon is going to affect people directly. The energy of the wood dragon affects people directly. And so each of us are also born with different elements. And so for some people, the wood earth of the dragon is going to be more supportive. For other people, it's going to be a little less supportive. We're going to also look at those signs, the 12 signs, and I might not be able to be a detailed forecast for everybody, but at least we're going to get some pointers for each sign. So we're going to cover that as well. The second things that we're going to cover is more strictly related to the Feng Shui, so more related to the building. The buildings, the energy of the year for next year is going to be the Chen triagram. The Chen triagram is also a wood triagram from the I Ching. This is from the I Ching. So it's different from the stem and branch. I know it's confusing because you keep having these 5 elements that, you know, they're all in this different location, and they mean different things. So the Chen triagram is a wood element, so it's very active. This past year, 2023, was a Sun triagram, which also was a wood element. So it's not going to change that much. The only thing that's going to change a little bit is that the Sun triagram maybe was a little bit sweeter energy, more social and interactive, while the Chen triagram is more of a yang wood element, and so might be a little bit more, you know, it's generally associated with the eldest son, so it's kind of like the heir to the throne. So it's going to be a little bit more entrepreneurial, you know, with the need of proving himself, so a little bit beating on his chest and showing off power. But this relates mostly to the buildings, and so each buildings is different. So based on the year that it was constructed, its orientation, the layout of the building, the people that lived in it, and the effect that it has on people, these are all factors that come into play in the way this chant diagram is going to manifest. And again, there are going to be some building for which is going to be a little bit more positive, and some building for which is going to be maybe not so positive. And we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk also how to adjust every direction, because each direction is also going to have a different energy in the building. And so we're going to address how that energy is going to change, and what we can do to take advantage of the better energy, or possibly to offset the energy that is not that great. The third things that is going to happen in 2024, and I'm sure you have noticed this already because it's such a big planetary shift, is the change of what we call normally the king number. The king number is actually the king trigrams, again, the trigram from the I Ching, but in this case, as it relates to the energy of construction of the building. The chi, when we talk about chi and chi of our building, is affected by the chi that comes from the sun and from the surrounding universe, and the chi that comes from the earth primarily. And so because we put the foundation into the earth, then the chi from the earth also permeate the structure of the building as we built it. And so when we put the roof on top of it, we capture that chi at the moment of construction. And so if you have a building that is going to be built in 2024, then your chi for that building is going to be different than a building that was constructed in 2023 or maybe 2022 or the 20 years prior. But if you have a building that is under construction right now, and maybe its construction is being delayed due to maybe getting permits or some delay from the construction company or things like that, and you are in the middle of construction right now, the energy might shift in your building while you're building it, depending on which stage you are. Also, if your building was designed with Feng Shui, but maybe it was designed a couple of years ago and it's been delayed and it's going to be built now in 2024, I have a few clients in that situation, then you might need to do an update because now the energy distribution of the building is going to be completely different. So you might need to do some minor changes, minor or major, I don't know, depends on the layout of the building, but there might be an adjustment to that. What is not going to change is the energy of a building that is already being constructed. So if your building was built 10 years ago, 2 years ago, 50 years ago, is not going to change, because the energy, once we put the roof on, has been sealed inside, and that will not change to accommodate the new chi. It's like the DNA of the building is not going to change until you either bulldoze the building down or you do some major structural renovation. So, but sometimes just like the yearly change might have a little bit of an effect on the energy of the building. In some cases, also a 20-year change might have a minor effect on the building. And sometimes this might be a change that we want to address, but it's not going to be a major change. So it's not like the building, a building that was good suddenly turns bad, or a building that was really bad suddenly turns good. We're not going to have anything like that. So I want to reassure you, if you're living in a good Feng Shui building, most likely that building is going to still be good after with 2024. So no worries about that. Anyway, I tried to pack a lot of information, and I know that might sound a little bit abstract and maybe not enough information for some of you that already know Feng Shui. So I'll invite all of you, whether you're new followers or old followers or student or client, to please join us on January 27 of 2024. January 27, 2024 at 11 a.m. Pacific time. It's a Saturday morning. We're going to meet for a couple of hours. We're going to cover a little bit more extensively all of these aspects that I mentioned so far. and hopefully you will get some pointers that are going to help you navigate this transition. So join us, go to our website, Feng Shui Training Center, to register for the class and to obtain the login link. The login link is going to come to you with an autoresponder, so keep an eye on that on your inbox or even on your spam filter, but it goes out as an autoresponder, so it will get there. If your registration went through, you will get it. And until then, until January 27, I just want to wish you a wonderful Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays wherever you are in the world. Also, a happy beginning of 2024. In Feng Shui, 2024 starts at the beginning of February, which is called the spring stand or the beginning of spring. That's why we have our forecast normally at the end of January, because as opposed to at the end of December, because we are preparing for the change of shifts that occurs at the beginning of February. And so I'm looking forward to see you then and to discuss more of these things, these wonderful things together. Take care until then, have fun and enjoy the holidays.